ahead.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Hertenfeld. I'm a genetics technology student, and I've been keeping track of this through the Facebook group Fair Copyright for Canada. And what I wanted to say is the last bill that was passed, Bill C-61, I thought that it was a very ineffective bill. I thought it was largely modeled off of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And I really don't like that act in the States. I think it's been ineffective, and it's caused these exorbitant lawsuits against American citizens. You know, somebody downloads a few songs and then they're sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars by the record labels. So while I think that the artists need to be compensated, absolutely, but I think that the consumers also have to be protected as well in the laws that we make. And yes, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. To Nicole.
Yes, so we have a comment from Toronto. Copyright law is so complex and unintuitive that it is very hard for anyone to follow it. Copyright reform should simplify the regime and make it acceptable to users and creators. Too bad this town hall seems to reflect mostly one perspective. There's also another comment from Toronto. As a musician and a commercial user of music, Canada requires a legitimate marketplace for the consumption of music. Many online music providers, such as Amazon, Rhapsody, are fearful of bringing their services to Canada due to the lack of a copyright regime. How can they compete with free? Future copyright laws must create rules and regulations to foster a legitimate marketplace.
My name is Steve Blair. I work for Warner Music Canada. My job is to go out and sign artists, Canadian artists actually, and try to facilitate their visions and hopefully sell some music at the same time. When I first started this job 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, our roster was 22 artists and thriving. It's now about 12. And most of that has to do with the cutbacks we've had. The budgets have cut back, and the staff has cut back. And having working with artists on a daily basis, I certainly know that about 20% of them can probably make a living off of it. The other 80% do it because they love it and have to do it, and people deserve to hear their music, and they're trying to make a living, and that choice is being taken away from them. Part of my job, too, is to try to solicit other people around the world to release our Canadian product. And it's becoming more and more difficult for us to develop stories here in Canada, success stories. And a lot of that has to do with lack of sales. And if I don't have a good story or a good sales story, it becomes difficult to convince somebody in the UK or the United States or Germany to take a risk on the product. It's risky as it is, and taking a risk on something that's you may not have a complete emotional attachment to is very difficult to do. I got up here because I feel a lot of artists are afraid to speak for themselves. They've chosen to try to sell their music, but they're very afraid to tell people that they don't like downloading. And I think the people that work in the music business have an obligation to do that. As my boss said earlier, we take this as a privilege, and none of us take it lightly. Thanks.
I take it